All right, there we go. We're live. Yank and Kiwi, episode 29. And as always, I'm your host, Brett, the handsome and charismatic one, and still filling in for Sam.
I'm Diente, the soon-to-be slave.
Yep. And yeah, we're currently sitting at episode 29, I meant. And I think for God's sakes, I'm actually at that point where I can actually recall where we are specifically.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but yeah. Uh this is great because well, I've had a lot of interesting developments on my end, but you know what, Dinte, has anything happened on your end?
No, nothing worth mentioning, to be honest.
Really? Nothing.
Really, nothing. Still old, boring me.
Come on, no. You're gonna tell me what? You haven't been playing anything interesting recently?
No, I haven't. But I did see they've releasing Samurai Showdown again next year, which was actually the fighting game series that got me into fighting games. So kind of looking forward to that one, and I suggest people check that out and try and support it if they want to. Of
Yeah, I
course,
mean,
we
like,
have to. Yeah, I
yeah,
was going to say,
I missed out on Samurai Showdown. Oh no, just because I had the misfortune of having my first console be an original Xbox.
okay. Well, it's making a comeback, and as long as they don't kill it with the DLC practices, I hoping for a good game. It saw the trailer; it's got a lot of blood in it.
Ooh, yeah. If you had to tell me like what like made like Samurai Showdown different from like say King of Fighters or Street Fighter.
I think it was the weapons because this was pre Soul Calibur and Soul Blade, so this was the first real fighting game I played that had the weapons and that in it, and you had characters had different weapons. You had one guy with a sword, of course. You had another one who used a couple of daggers and actually had a hawk that would help her out in attack. And there was this big guy who had like a long chain, kind of like Scorpion, but it was his actual attacks, not just a special move.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, like the only thing I really know about it was what I saw in a Razor Fist video, and he seemed to be implying that that a lot of what came into Samurai Showdown was like timing, precision, and accuracy.
Oh yeah, that was remember the AI was very defensive.
Yeah, like this, like yeah, you couldn't like button mash your way through a game like this. You were like this
No,
thing
no,
skill.
no way. Yeah.
But yeah, I
But
mean like
yeah, I used to play that in the old arcade. I mean, that was a thing that used to suck away all my money when I was younger most of the time.
wow, yeah, yeah, was did this thing like have instant like one hit kill moves like in Guilty Gear?
No, but you could get some pretty critical hits in if like you planned your timing. It was I mean it was very cleverly done because like how samurais they have to be very patient and they're waiting for that opening. That's how the game's done. So like you said, you can't go in there and button mash. You have to learn how every character moves, learn how your character is and how they stack up against each and every character individually. And there's a lot of strategy to it. It was, yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as I can tell, like SNK, they've handled their fighting game franchises pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, the King of Fighters series is still going strong, and that's one of the, like, what was the one we Blaz Blue and Guilty Gear? They focus on actually making a good game, not trying to make a half-ass game and then, they'll patch it up and DLC it later and get as much money out of you. You actually get a good solid game from them. So, I'm having high hopes for Samurai Showdown.
Wait, aren't Guilty Gear and BlazBlue done by Arc Systems or something?
Yeah, but they still care about the games. They actually try to make a full game for people.
Oh, I see.
Like you say, like Street Fighter 5 or
All
Tekken
right.
7, which is just yeah.
Oh yeah, I see what I see what you're saying. Like yeah, but yeah, I mean but yeah, like I said, just the fact that that it's not being done by say Capcom should make you
No,
should give you
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's in good hands. So, yeah, and the trailer looked really great, and it was only showed 4 characters, but they were like classic characters I knew. And this is just the first trailer, so of course there's going to be more later. But it was good first impressions. It was damn good in first impression.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna crap. I mean, like I'm now more of a full time PC gamer. I mean, they'll probably have a. Do you think is it gonna have a PC release?
I'm sure it will. I mean, with Steam, it's a good moneymaker at the moment.
I'm gonna
I
look.
mean, a
I'm gonna
lot
look
of
that up for just a second. Summer Showdown. Okay. Late. I need to look at the latest one.
2019. Try that one.
Say what?
Try Samurai Showdown 2019. They might just be calling it that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because when I just pulled up Samurai Showdown in general, and again, all right, let's see. It's for the it says it's Wikipedia page only says PS4.
Yeah. It'll come to PC. It'll come to PC and Xbox. I'm fairly confident it will.
You know what? Yeah, well, at least recently on PC, I've really gotten into Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, this is actually a. I assume you've got some level of familiarity with Gears of War.
I just know it by name, to be honest.
Okay, well, you know how they made a lot of like how back when Gears of War was a thing, like was like really big. They had all those third person shooters where with cover mechanics and stuff.
Yep.
Not in Space Marine.
Oh,
Now, and in fact, doesn't even have regenerating health either.
well, you got to find the health packs.
Actually, do you want to know how you get health
How?
back in Space Marine?
How do
You
you do it?
perform execution maneuvers on enemies.
Okay, that's unique.
Yeah. Like so yeah, you and that this is so not like that, it's got like really good melee combat. It's not just a shooter. Like you've got you've got a big ass fucking knife, you've got a chainsword, you've got a surge axe, you've got a power axe, and a thunder hammer. All of them operate differently.
Wow,
And there's
that's
actually a level of skill involved in pulling off these execution maneuvers. Like you gotta soften up your enemies first before you do it.
cool.
And if you think you get to go into an invincibility frame when pulling it off, you do not. You can get killed pulling these off.
Wow.
So
So
even
you
on
really
normal,
got
so even playing normal, this game is pretty challenging.
cool. That sounds good. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it is. It came out on the 360, the PS3, and the PC. Did not do well in sales, and a lot of that was just because it got released around the same time as Gears of War 3, and
Mm,
even though the Warhammer brand is very well known, it still was kind of a niche title.
yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, because like this is a yeah, I would yeah, friend named Tank was a huge 40K fan. He says that this game is very underrated, and I'm of one mind with him there. Like it's, and especially what's really good is the story because I don't know how you don't really know that much about Warhammer 40K, do you, Dinte?
No, not really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Walter is a he's a captain in the he's a captain in the Ultramarines, which is one of the various Space Marine chapters.
Yep.
Now, among the 40K fandom, the Ultramarines are not very well liked. And a lot of the prevailing wisdom is that they get all the best stuff that the other chapters don't, and they're kind of overpowered and sort of written like Mary Sue's. A lot of this gets blamed on one of the writers at Games Work former writers at Games Workshop, Matt Ward. He doesn't work there now. He's on hiatus, focusing on novels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like after he got in, then he just really started like souping up the Ultramarines. And in fact, in a YouTube series called "If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device," they kind of make a joke out of that because it's kind of implying that the chapter master struck a deal with a warp entity to make the Ultramarines so super powered. And the big joke is because now there's no challenge to anything. He's super depressed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, honestly, you can learn a lot. In fact, yeah, I think I shared one of the videos with you, didn't I?
Yeah, you shared the Gaia series.
Yeah, it was the one where the Custody played against Zeech in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean. Yep.
Yeah, you thought it was freaking hysterical. I'm like, yeah. Here's the thing about like Zinch, like he's one of the 4 chaos gods, and his whole thing is that he's a schemer. His plans always have wheels within wheels, and you can't figure him out. And they portray him to be like this big fucking nerd in that series. It's like I love that series. It's like a meme goldmine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he still do that?
Yeah. In fact, Brother Alpha Boost, I think, just released a new episode less than a month ago. It just these things. It's just that the last couple episodes were just so long, and long. In fact, like the last 2 were supposed to be 1 episode, and then he realized, oh wait, this is too long. I'm gonna have to split these up. But yeah, he's still doing it.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't actually watched any since you linked me those ones.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say though is like the Ultramarines, they're not well liked by the 40K fandom at large just because of they're kind of just so beefed up and overpowered. But the main character in Space Marine Titus, he's actually well written. Like he actually gets his ass kicked several times in that game. He actually has to struggle for his victory. It's a good game and something that I would say in fact I think it was released for free over in a humble bundle on Good Old Games a while back. I don't know if it still is, but I think you can get it dirt cheap these days. It's through like Steam or Good Old Games. Let me pull it up.
Yep.
Let me check to see what it goes for. What it's going for right now. Space Marine Steam. We got just on Steam. Let's see. Steam. Here's a link. Yes, I am the appropriate age Steam.
Oh god, that thing annoys me. It always pops up despite the fact you've got to put in your age before you join.
Yeah. Well, I'm not logged into my Steam right now. But yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right now it goes for $30. That's US. I think that's like what in what's that? What's that in say in
about $40 to $45 roughly.
Yeah, so it's not really that. It's not expensive. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So there's one to consider getting.
Nice. Yeah, I'll look into that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, third-person shooter, no cover mechanics, no regenerating health. Only way to get more health is through execution maneuvers that take some skill to pull off, and you don't even have invincibility frames.
Nice.
Yeah. It's I'd definitely recommend people get that game. Yeah. Yeah.
All right then.
Enough about that. And then well, and also I am gonna look into maybe again see if I can get Samurai Showdown because I do have a PS4, but I don't PS4, so I could still get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I think the Tokyo Game Show starts tomorrow, so there might be some info about it dropped over the weekend.
Yeah, we'll probably know more. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and but to get it but to get a little dig in a little more deeper, last in between this episode and the previous one, I got signed to an actual publisher.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because I and you know this because because I sent this to you over Facebook. I got those of you not in the know yet. I'm gonna have Changeling published by Wicked Publishing. There,
Well, that's
this
damn good news as well.
yeah, that is damn good news. And if you want to and if you want to know what else they've got under their belt, well, they are currently publishing Jack Irons, which is that post-apocalyptic western. Yeah, I mean, have I shown you anything from Jack Irons, Dinte?
No, but I do know it by name. I know that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, dude, I gotta show you some of the art that Cody's been putting up on the Twitter for it, because
All
this
right.
stuff is fucking gorgeous.
Let's see
Just
that.
I just sent it to you right now.
Yep. Now I'm just opening the link.
I just
Oh wow, that is good.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, this book was originally gonna be in black and white. Now, black and white, it looks like it's a pulp novel, which isn't bad. But
Yeah.
with those colors, dude, this goes on something that's on par with a Mobius comic.
Yeah. That's
Like,
looking really
I don't
good.
know if you know the guy, but he's like a pretty big deal in like the Franco-Belgian comic circles. Like, I think a lot of his work was published through Heavy Metal.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah, he was a dude was a really great artist, like one of the best, and just holy fuck, just the fact that Cody was able to tap a guy with that kind of skill level for those colors, like it is gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh no, that looks impressive. That is some really good artwork.
Yeah, yeah, because dude, the whole premise behind Jack Irons is that you have this cowboy named Jack Irons,
Yep.
and he's he's an immortal cowboy who's got over 2,500 years worth of memories. Like, he's 200 years old, but he's also been, at least based off the first issue, it just shows that this guy's had past lives throughout history. And like you can actually read the first issue. It's in black and white on Tapas. I'll link you that. That's like, because it's, you really got to read that. That's really good.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see if we can. I'll find it. I'm pretty sure I'll find it. But yeah, the it just does a really good job selling you on the premise of the book, and because you want to know like more about Jack, like why is he been reincarnated? What's his whole goal? Is he trying to find a way to get out of this cycle, or is he looking for someone connected to all his past lives? Or like it does a lot of good job of building a mystery and making you want to find more or learn more about it.
Sounds like a pretty neat story.
Yeah, it is. It's they're in fact, like they're working on wrapping up Yeah, they're working up on wrapping up the first issue, I believe, and I think they're going to start work on the second issue fairly soon.
Sweet.
Yeah, and sorry, I've been talking so much. I've been talking so much, and I haven't really had a drink in a while. But I'll keep going anyway. What? No, like Matt. Well, I sent. There's another buddy of mine. I sent him a link to get in late. He probably won't show up till much later, and hopefully we can gab on long enough to give him time to show up. But he's got his own book coming that's going to be published through Wicked, it's called McKinnon Chronicles, and it's sort of a it's sort of a space opera done in the style of, you ever heard of Horatio Hornblower?
Yes.
You know those books?
I know of them, yes.
Yeah, that's sort of the style they're being done in. It's McKinnon Chronicles is being done in, and like his main character, like Matt's main character Maisie, like she's like a tactician and like some space navy or something. Like, he can explain it a lot better than I can, just because I haven't. But he's actually started working on it, and he just dropped like the first colored page today, and it looks. I'm gonna see if I can grab that because it looks really pretty. Okay, here we go. I found it. Come on, you should be. Come on, you stupid. There we go. You're working now. Yeah, there. And I just sent it to you right now. You should be getting it.
And where are we?
Not. No, it's taking a little longer than I thought it would. I know another way. All right, let me try again.
Okay.
Wow, that's okay. Either that file is really big, or the connection is not that good. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, yep, got it.
Yeah, the one with the spaceship.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a little bit of Horatio Hornblower, a little bit of like a Babylon 5, like some, and I think like what was it called? Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
It's some kind of anime Matt told me about that I've never. It's like from the 80s. It's like it's around the same time as like Macross and Gundam, but I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it by name. I actually think that was one that used to be on the video shows, but I never actually got around to getting it out for whatever reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Matt's gonna have, if Matt gets in, and he's gonna have to explain what Legend of the Galactic Heroes is all about. Because if this is like something that's on par with Gundam or Macross, that's got to be worth checking out, right?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's obviously good enough that Matt's taking inspiration from it, so it's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you got like one good book that's got a lot of momentum behind it. You got another one. Coming out that's got a really cool premise behind it, and then you got mine, Changeling. Yeah. Oh, and even better, signed it, found a new artist.
Oh, who you got this time?
A Mexican guy named Victor Campon. Campon. I don't know how it's pronounced, but he sent me some headshots, and that was basically what I. And yeah, here's what I got. Not from him. It's yeah. He honestly clicks with the dude. Feels like he clicks with me.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if he's gonna. Don't think he's gonna color it. I'm still looking for someone else to find it. To take care of that, I meant. But yeah, we've definitely got a good synergy going so far. Which when you're doing these collaborative projects, that's important shit to have. Like you gotta have that kind of synergy with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like you want to be like you want to have someone you can work with, someone that you can feel like at least gets what your vision is.
Yeah, that's very important.
And also, like Victor's rates are actually pretty good too. Like the dude's like charging me $60 a page. That's something I can get the ball rolling, and we can have a good chunk of we can have like a good chunk of the work done before the year's out.
Sweet.
Yeah, and not only that, not only that, come January, he and I are gonna come January. I'm gonna launch the Indiegogo campaign to collect whatever funds I'm gonna need to finish it off. I think a lot of it's gonna be done for printing, and I think maybe probably also and I'll probably figure that out as I go.
Yeah.
Oh, because there's a lot of I'm probably gonna have to do a lot of research on what kind of costs I'm gonna need to take on. I'm probably gonna talk to Cody since he's already been through this and he's run Jack Irons pretty well because like if he like they made more money than they were expecting to make off that Indiegogo campaign.
That'll be good. So January, you'll definitely have to let us know when that gets up and going.
Yeah, oh, believe me, I will. In fact, another thing I'm also working on is I'm working on putting together a little intro to Changeling video. It's just basically going to be Maeve talking to the camera, and just sort of giving like a rough idea of what the whole, giving a rough idea of what the premise is about, and it's actually going to be voice acted. I I was able to get in contact with I was able to get in contact with a couple voice actors. I already have the audio done. I just need to put everything together, and Victor's gonna draw the stills for it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've probably said this already, man. But dude, I just I just feel like like there's just a I just feel like things are actually finally kind of moving. Like things just like all like it was just the right time to start doing this.
No, it's good that things are coming together, and yeah, I mean the next 4 or 5 months might be a little stressful at times, but yeah, it's gonna be great to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my god, I mean, I probably said this before in a previous episode, but man, if you had gone to me when I was 17 and you told me that you're gonna have when you're 10 years from now, you're gonna make a comic that people are going to be interested in, and you're gonna be signed to an actual publisher, I wouldn't have believed it.
Well, yeah, Evan, you are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would not. I never would have thought this would have happened to me. I mean, like I've got fan art for it, and it hasn't. And I haven't even published anything. That's. I'm like thinking to myself, dude, when did I become the guy people want to make fan art for? Like, when
Hmm.
did that happen to me? Like, like like, I'm just, I'm just freaking, I just feel freaking inspired right now.
That's good. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just, fuck. If anything, I've even got more ideas than I know what to do with now. Like I've got
Oh
people
dear.
who even want to do collaborations with Changeling, like like they want to do like crossovers, and not only that, I mean, like I'm even talking with like other creators about possible things we can do, and it's just like I'm talking to people I never would have thought I could. Like I never in my wildest dreams I thought I'd be able to work with.
Yep.
Like yeah, it's just it's amazing. And that I'm
That's
that,
good,
that
man.
yeah, I didn't. And I mean, like, and even better. I mean, like I've got the first issue more or less ready to go. I just gotta do is send it to Victor. It's just like fuck.
It's kind of like hit you in the face and then all somewhat surreal, you'd say.
It's more like it's just kind of it's just overwhelming, man.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, like this was never a position I ever imagined myself being in. But then
Yeah,
again,
I
I mean,
get you.
but then again, my friends Brian and Trent with their book Rags. Do you want to know something? It
What's that?
outsold an old Marvel comic.
Which one?
Let me look. Let me pull it up. There was a video done on that.
Okay.
There was a video done on that not too recently. I know I liked it. It's in my likes. Let me pull it up.
Cool.
No. Here we are. It looks to. Oh wait, no. Yep, I can remember it. Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell out because it doesn't say which one it was, but I did. But I do remember the Twitter. But I do remember the Twitter now. Twitter now was done through a website called Cover Price. Let me pull them up. It's. I think this was. When was it? This video was like done like how recently? Yesterday. No, actually 2 days ago. So it's still got to be there. Let's see. Yeah, here it is.
Okay.
Avengers number 44, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Image. Yeah, this indie comic made by two nobodies. Two nobodies. That's where the premise is some half-naked redhead chick trying to fight her way through a zombie apocalypse has outperformed a Marvel comic.
That's
Like
big.
that's like it should that even be possible?
Um, it shouldn't really. It technically it shouldn't.
It should not be true. This shouldn't be happening. I mean, but like, of course, this is sort of speaking to a larger problem that Marvel has kind of burned up so much goodwill out of their fans and people are so starved for good comics
Yeah.
that Rags was able to pull that off. And I can tell you, like Brian and Trent, they are happy as fuck about that.
Don't blame them. That is an accomplishment, no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like there's just no other way to look at this. Like
No,
they basically managed to pull off what should have been impossible.
that's crazy. Good crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm happy as fuck for those guys. 'Cause
Well, you could have your own story this time next year.
probably. I mean, like, in fact, I was going back and forth with Matt. I think like last night about like because there's a thing with Changeling. I've actually kind of held back on it a lot. Like there's like I've gone out of my way to keep any swearing out of it.
Yeah.
There's there's going to be some violence, but it's not very graphic. Like let me put it this way: you could see blood, but you're not going to see people get dismembered or anything. And not only that, like there's going to be like it's even going to be very kind of tame on sex too. Like, but that's because like it's sort of like in the sort of larger context that we've got young adult books in these days. They're like they're a lot more liberal with the sex and swearing these days,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you can like you can. And honestly, I'm kind of the opinion that that's sort of not, that they probably shouldn't be doing that. And kind of with that in mind, Changelings almost kind of has a potential to be a game changer.
Cool.
I mean, like because like I said, like this is, I mean, and and not only that, I mean, just because of like all the things I can do with this book too. I because I have it more or less set up that I can do so many different. I can go in like so many different tonal directions. I can do so many different things, and none of it's really gonna feel forced. Like I can have it and I can have like arcs where it's more emotional and dramatic, and then I can have more I can have arcs where it's like more off the wall and zany. Like
Yeah, I mean, the good thing with you starting off on your own is you have full creative control, so
yeah.
you can play around a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, true. I mean, like I don't like having an editor breathing down my neck, and it's. I mean, like I have people I trust. I run this by, and and they more or less know what I intend for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like there is going to be sort of a lane that it's more or less going to stick with, but it is going to ever so often like have these moments where it goes a bit more off the wall. But like I said, those are going to be like in small concentrated doses. It's not going to be something that I do too often because you do that too often, and then all of a sudden either it loses its effect, or well, it loses its effect, and then it makes the book come off schizophrenic. Like you have to know when to pull back on these things.
Yeah. You got to show some restraint.
Yeah, and something though, I also I sort of have planned for this if it catches on, and
Okay.
I've got every reason to believe it will. Is that I want to do like these little anthology specials.
Ah,
Yeah, and what's going to be unique about this is that I'm going to give like fans the opportunity to pitch like stories for those. Like they just can submit like scripts for 5 to 6 page short stories, or ones that are just like quick, one and done. And not like that, you can have them write it. It brings in fan artists. Like I kind of want Changeling to be a book that brings people that kind of brings fans in. I don't want to project this image that I'm untouchable somehow.
yeah. No, you don't want that.
And I mean, fuck, even this could be like a way somebody gets discovered. Yeah, I mean, like, just that just why I mean, like, why can't why shouldn't I do that?
No, go for it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, like, it's just like, yeah, I know. It's like I said, I'm at in a place where I've got more ideas than I know what to do with now.
well, at least that's something. I mean, you're working on getting your first part out, and then you got your second, and then as you're going along, you'll probably have time to run these ideas through your head, and you'll soon figure out which will work, which won't, and you could go like that.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, like a lot of I mean, like a lot of the ideas I'm having these days. Though, I mean, like there's things that are more long term, things that would happen further down the line.
Yep.
But it's just it. But yeah, it's just I just haven't had this kind of creative energy in like a long time. I mean, like don't get me wrong. I had a lot of energy behind me back when I was, but with the werewolf series, which I haven't given up on, but it, like just tech issues just kind of forced me to kind of forced the forced progress to halt for a while.
Yeah, well, that can't be helped.
Yeah, but I mean, like I had plenty of energy behind that, but I mean, like, but that was just me doing something based off somebody else's work. Like the kind of energy I've got for Changeling is completely different. Like this is something I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, this is something I've made. This is something that's completely mine.
Yeah, that's a fucking great feeling, I bet.
Oh, it is. Like it really is. It's just it really is, man. It's just and especially when you especially with just like all the positive support I've gotten for it and it's just
That's good.
yeah, it's just if I just feel so freaking lucky. I just feel so blessed. I mean, like right now, my biggest long-term goal for Changeling is to have this thing ready to be presented at Jet City Comic Con next year, which is a local con in Tacoma. Oh, and speaking of which, actually, Matt, it was either Matt or Michael. They're the different Matt from the different Matt. Like this is Boss Matt, not Writer Matt.
Okay.
One of them was talking to me over Twitter about asking me to asking me to submit an image to have for as a print and poster that they were going to take to LA Comic Con, which is going to be happening later in October, around the 26th to 28th.
Okay. Let me just get the dates. Ah. So it's Friday to the Sunday.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that's gonna be good though because you're gonna see like an actual poster for Changeling at an actual convention being presented. People are going to. I just this feels like a people are going to really pick up on this.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I don't know how much more I can keep talking about this because if I keep talking, then I'm just going to be going into major spoiler territories about the plot, and I don't want to.
No, you got to save the story for us, man. I mean, keep us up to date on the progress, but save the story for when it's out, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to do that for sure.
Oh, that'll be good. I mean, well, it's going to be an interesting last quarter of the year for you.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Um, Without a doubt. Right now, but if there is anything else I can talk about right now, it's that in the short term, I'm actually trying to track down a colorist. Hopefully, someone who's got a good handle on mood and atmosphere, because that's just what it's going to need.
Yep. You have anyone in mind?
Um, there, I sort of put out an open call on Twitter. I got I got one guy sent into DM to, so So we'll see how that pans out.
Cool. Oh well, yeah, yeah. As I said before, just keep us informed, keep us up to date, because it's going to be interesting to follow you.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely, man. Just- Uh, okay, so yeah, I guess I'm not. I think about the only thing I can even really bring up at this point is, but the only thing I can really bring up at this point is just that I'm not even really sure I care about this that much. Just that the new Predator movie came out, and I think last weekend.
Oh god, I completely fucking forgot about that thing.
Yeah,
Oh
I haven't gone
wow.
to see. I haven't gone to see it yet. I got. I saw. I saw a review of it by Your Movie Sucks. He wasn't.
Oh yeah.
He didn't walk away feeling too impressed by it. But then again, I think the guy's got very specific taste for what he wants out of movies.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's getting right now. Oh, apparently it has like a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 6.1 on IMDb.
Hmm. That's
Interesting.
yeah.
Let's okay. Well, I went onto its Rotten Tomatoes page. The audience score is slightly better, 49%. But yeah, I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, like they were hype. Like they were hyping this movie up for like how long? It
Oh.
was even being
Fuck.
directed by Shane Black. He was in the original.
Yeah, I mean this has been talked about since 2011 at least.
Yeah,
So 7 years, say 7 or 8 years.
yeah. Since like the last Predator, since Predators, which I
Yeah,
actually thought was pretty good.
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean that thing actually went into some. I think Predators was a really good sequel for that series, just because that actually went into some unexplored territory.
Yeah,
And what it was because like up until that point, you had the first two Predator movies. I'm not counting Alien versus
no
Predator
one
though.
does. Nobody does. Don't worry.
Yeah, but yeah, with the first two Predator movies, what happened is you had the Predator coming to Earth to hunt. In this case, with predators, they abducted humans from Earth and just dumped them into what was essentially a big game reserve or
Yeah,
planet, and they hunted them there. That actually, I mean, being dumped into an alien world and being hunted, like there's a lot of tension set up really quickly in that movie.
yeah. And then also there's it was like I don't know what they were called. It was like an alpha type of predator. Like you had your regular predator, but then there was this bigger, stronger version that would just hunt it, even hunt their own kind.
Yeah, I think what they implied, like there was some kind of blood feud between, like, I don't know, clans or tribes or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They were like much stronger.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, yeah, that was actually pretty scary. I mean, like there was a. I mean, like that was actually really good just because, like I said, it went into unexplored territory for that series,
Yeah.
or at least what was at that time unexplored territory. And I don't know. I mean, like maybe this new Predator's good, maybe it's not. But I mean, like having it hunt back on Earth again, it's like we've seen that movie twice, and I think it's
Here's the
even, and I think it's hunting in an urban setting again.
it was more than that though, because it's I know you said you don't want to talk about Aliens versus Predator 2, but the fucking storyline seems almost taken from Alien versus Predator Requiem, where it's a you know how in that one it was the Predator alien, and
Yeah,
then there was all those scientists trying to study it. In this one, it looks like they try to make their own genetically altered predator. I'm like, oh, you got no, don't fucking do that. Please don't do that.
oh man, I mean, like if anything, they really should have just built off the last one. Like I understand wanting to keep some mystery behind it, but like what was good about Predators was just the fact that it looked like it was starting to develop the Predators more.
Yeah, and it left itself open for a sequel easy enough.
Yeah, but again, like why take us back to Earth and then not only that, just essentially do what they did with Predator 2. I mean with Predator 2, sure, it was at least it was a different setting at the time.
Yeah,
It went from the jungle in the first movie to a city.
yeah,
That was at least yeah, at the time that was at least different. You have to give it that much. It was doing something different.
yeah,
And then you had Predators, which took the next logical step and decided, okay, let's just get off Earth then, and go to one of their planets. You know, honestly, the next one should really have gone into developing more about the Predators. And I understand wanting to keep things a mystery, wanting to keep certain things unanswered. I get that. But honestly, I mean, like, what kind of is there really that much mystery to it? I mean, like, they're an alien hunting warrior culture. Like we've seen that before.
yeah. And they seem to have like we know how they have an honor system that they seem to follow, and they can respect strong warriors and all that. So it's
Well, I mean,
basic stuff, but it works.
yeah, I mean, like the thing with predators is that they never go after prey that aren't carrying weapons because they don't view it as sport.
No.
Yeah.
Or in Predator 2, there was an important scene when they during the train heist when the Predator gets hold of the female detective, I forget her name. As soon as he found out she was pregnant, he left her alone immediately.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I remember that too. Yeah. But yeah, there's just like, but I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's just so, but that just makes me wonder though, why did they decide to just take to like after Predators actually did something that was kind of a shot in the arm for the series? Why they decided, just go back to Earth?
I don't know. There might be. I mean, originally they were talking about doing this as a reboot, but this has officially become the fourth title in the series. So maybe there's some kind of convoluted explanation that they'll just throw
What
in there.
are we gonna have to wait till Predator 5 for this to make sense?
Oh God, I hope not, because
I
these fucking movies take 6 to 10 years to come out, don't they?
Not kidding. I mean, seriously, like if we have to wait for, I mean, if it's gonna take another movie to make this movie make sense, probably a good sign it was not a good movie then.
No, and this is a problem. Fucking a lot of movies do at the moment, and as much as I like the Marvel universe, they're partly to blame. Is they'll come up with an idea for a movie, just whatever, but they're always thinking, well, okay, this movie has to lead into this, which is going to connect with this. And they get too far ahead and they just don't focus on actually making a movie at the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having like an interconnected film universe. That's fine, but yeah, but if each individual movie should be able to stand on its own, dude.
Yeah. I mean, make something, and then if it works, maybe then think, okay, what can we do to connect this to whatever, you know? So I hope that they haven't done this with Predator 4, and then they're thinking, oh, don't worry, Predator 5 is going to come out, and then that's going to explain this, but that's going to lead into something else with Predator 6. So in 30 years, you'll have all your answers.
Hey, Mattson, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. How about you two?
Oh, good, thanks.
That's Dean Tay. He is the Kiwi in the Yank and Kiwi podcast.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, so hey, I wanted to tell Dean Tay about McKinnon Chronicles, Matt, but unfortunately, I think you're the guy to do that.
Well, go ahead and shoot questions. I mean, it's basically.
I couldn't get past it's Horatio Hornblower in space.
Well, after making Edwin Boyette yell Khan, with the description of it being like Wrath of Khan, its format is basically the same, in which it's not going to have much of a continuing storyline. It's just going to be each book will be a self-contained storyline about a space officer named Maisie McKinnon, and each book takes place at a different point in her career. So right now she's a rookie commander, but who knows where the next book's going to be? Could be she'll be an admiral in the next one.
So it could be leaping between different points of her life with each volume, but it's not like in any particular order.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The only thing that'll basically unite the series will be the setting. And
yep.
And I pretty much made it so big that her actions aren't going to be big enough to be universal shattering.
Say what? Like how so?
Well, you know how in a lot of sci-fi you have the lead characters making decisions that the whole galaxy is the fate of the galaxy is on their hands. It's not going to be that way in McKinnon Chronicles simply because it's huge. The main faction, Solarian Alliance, holds about 130,000 populated systems and over 200,000 resource systems. So whatever happens, it'll be earth-shattering for the place he's in, but not so much anywhere else.
So like we're more or less gonna stick to. So more or less, we're just gonna stick to that one space, that one part of the galaxy that Maisie occupies. Like, not gonna be a lot of exploration.
There's gonna be some exploration. I plan on taking her all over the galaxy. It's, eventually we'll also see what Earth looks like at that time period. But right now it's all about having fun with the character and where she's going to be.
That's cool. Yeah.
And well, the admiral portion of the story will have her command command fleets. So it's a possibility that in those books she's going to be in multiple parts of the galaxy.
Really?
While not at the same time, just traveling to those areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing, like this was talked about in the stream we did with Tank, I think last week, that McKinnon Chronicles, it's kind of got its foot firmly in hard science fiction.
More or less. I've kind of at the very beginning I was more of very firm in hard science fiction, but I think it's not going to be so much as firm as it is that it'll be on hard science fiction, but it's going to give some leeway to the artistic side of the story.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like it's like everything, everything more or less like has a scientific explanation. I mean, it's hard science fiction, like in the way Star Trek was. That's not about right.
Star Trek at the time period, yeah. There was a whole lot that we didn't know about space in the 60s. So they were able to do what they could with what they knew, such as they didn't have a term for black hole. So, which is interesting because they coined the term black star for those.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. So more like what McKinnon Chronicles has got a little more in common with original series Star Trek than say Next Generation.
Yeah, or Babylon 5.
Oh yeah, Babylon 5 too. Yeah.
Yeah, they've. It's going.
I was just but yeah, like everything more or less though, it's got a scientific explanation behind it. It's not like Star Wars where.
Yes, we all figured that one out.
Well, okay, like I mean, you guys, Dinte, you mean like Star Wars, like at its core, it's essentially a fantasy story with a science fiction skin, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah. Whereas like Star Trek, like even though it plays fast and loose with science, at least everything is supposed to have a scientific explanation behind it.
Yep. Pretty much. And it was really interesting to see with Star Trek how communications shrunk.
Oh yeah, I think we have cell phones nowadays because of Star Trek.
Well, we can't have the portable radios as Buck Rogers had them.
I mean, honestly, you guys know I'm right. I mean, like we have cell phones because of Star Trek.
Yeah,
it's plausible. It's plausible.
Well, what else were those communicators supposed to be? I mean, that was like one of the first. That's like a crude model of a flip phone.
except that you could actually hold it out and you could actually hear someone while not holding it to your ear.
Oh.
You there?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Although I definitely say a smartphone is definitely a long way away from a Star Trek communicator. We still haven't gotten to the comm badges yet.
Well, I kind of feel I don't want to have comm badges simply because I'd feel stupid talking to nothing.
Yeah, and also the guy who invents the universal translator, that guy is going to be stupid rich.
No, definitely. He'll absolutely be rich.
Although honestly, about the only thing I don't think we're gonna have it's gonna be transplanted from Star Trek is we're gonna get beyond the need to have money.
Well, who knows? I mean, they've there's they've actually figured out the science behind replicators. So it's possible that we can just replicate what we need.
Uh, yeah, but I mean, like, the replicators just sort of introduce like a whole lot of questions. And like, for one, like, how are they making stuff? Because you can't create something out law of conservation. You can't create something out of nothing.
Well, they recently I've just read a science article about how they were able to build a molecule factory.
Really?
Yeah. So might be sooner than we think.
Hmm.
Still, I mean, like, you still can't really create anything out of nothing. I mean, like, Matt, you remember Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Yep.
Dean, I know you remember Full Metal Alchemist.
Vaguely.
Do you remember what the big? Do you remember the big
I
thing
remember.
about the law of equivalent exchange in that?
Yes, you can't create something out of nothing.
Yeah. Like, to perform alchemy, you had to have raw materials to work with.
Yep.
Like, that was a really good rule. Rule it had, because it sort of like kept them from having a way to cheat.
Well, I think for the most part, I think everything is just right now based on what we understand at the moment. Because back in the 19th century, it was considered to be certain things were impossible for them, such as heavier than air machines, flying machines, or slitting them out the atom.
Well, okay. I mean, like, I will give you flying machines. That one I'll give you, but I don't think even splitting the atom was something anyone even thought of. Like, I don't think that thought entered anybody's head.
Well, there were physicists that actually did say it was impossible back then.
Really?
Oh yeah, I read about in one of Michio Kaku's books about how one of the leading physicists of the era said that it was impossible to split the atom.
Wow, I'm actually okay. All right then. I'll concede that. So I mean, like,
Physicists
although,
play the long game.
okay, but yeah, I mean, like, okay, let's just. But I mean, like, even with the replicators, there's just still other questions. Like, if you make, if all of a sudden, you make resources infinite, well, then what does that do for an economy? Like, because a big part of how economics work is that we only have a finite amount of resources. That's how supply and demand works.
True.
Well,
Or at least part of it.
well, if it basically a replicator would redefine humanity, I think, about how we approach conservation. I think a replicator would definitely go a long way with space travel, since a lot of the things that we worry about is having enough food, having repair parts for anything that breaks in space.
Mm-hmm. Is that some? Are you ever going to get into anything like that over in McKinnon Chronicles?
Oh, definitely. I I thought of a lot of things for it.
Yeah, like, yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you told me you sort of had this thing sitting in your head for like over 6 years.
Yeah. I might convert the original screenplay I wrote into a graphic novel.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so yeah, I think like you told me like if anything, the worst thing people will be able to say is the story's not great, but the world is very well developed.
And it'll look pretty.
Also true. Yes, that will also be true.
Because I know everyone says this, but I definitely think that I've got the best team put together.
Cool.
Until mine gets put together. I mean, I've still got to get my get my hands on a colorist. Just like because I think when I was talking with Victor, I think I might have scared him off, turned him off doing coloring because he said he could do it, and then I showed him the guy I wanted to go with initially. You know, that guy Cody has doing Jack Irons.
Yep.
He was just blown away by that. And when I found out from Cody's guy that he was not gonna have the time to be able to do it, and then I said, and I was willing to give him another shot.
Huh.
He said, I mean, yeah, I could do it, but I won't be as good as that guy.
Well,
I might have accidentally intimidated him.
oh no.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's still on board to do the line art. Which is good.
Oh yeah.
But it's just I had to look elsewhere for colorists. That's why I put out an open call on Twitter earlier today and sent a DM to one person. I have not heard back yet, despite the fact that person is now following me.
Well,
The DM is just sitting there, unanswered.
well, sometimes they're busy.
I get that, but I mean, like, if you had, I'm just wondering. You know what? I'm not going to speculate too much.
You know, Twitter is a very weird place because with all of its bugs. I once sent a DM to Troy, and it sat there for a long time. And when Troy contacted me to let me know about the commission, him being ready for the commission, he apologized for the long wait because Twitter never told him that he got a DM from me.
Oh.
Now, I thought I have expected you to say, like, oh, by the time Troy got back to me, I'd forgotten about it.
Well, honestly, I think Troy's one of the best best guys out there. So, not just for Wandful, but just how nice he is.
Yeah, I mean, like, every interaction I've had with Troy's been good.
Yeah. It's a rare person to get him angry.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, like, Dean, you haven't seen Juan Pool. This thing is like this. This thing is something.
All right.
Yeah, let me pull it. I'm gonna pull up Troy's Twitter for you. Like,
Cool.
Like, for one, here we are. Troy is like, Troy's art is just really good, and it's like, I think the basic gist of Wampool is you have this guy named Juan. Is this fat nerd? He looks like the Hispanic version of. He's like the Hispanic version of comic book guy from The Simpsons, right? That's what he looks like, Matt, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like the Hispanic version of. He looks like the Hispanic version of comic book guy from The Simpsons, but instead of him being like I would say he's a much more endearing sort of parody of comic book nerds, though. Like comic book guy is like all the negative stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juan is more like he's just sort of a lovable goof.
That I can agree with. If your assessment of the character, he's just one of those. He's just really. He's the anti-comic book guy at times. Well, in terms of personality.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he's just like, because like comic book guy, he's kind of snobbish and elitist. Even though he's a fat, well, up until recently, he was just a fat single loser.
Well, no, he was. Wait, comic book guy or Juan?
No, comic book guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because there was like a couple seasons ago where comic book guy got married, and to some Japanese geek girl.
Oh, what? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Juan is he's different. He's like that one comic book nerd like everybody's friends with.
Yeah. I can agree with. Yeah, I can agree with that.
In fact, I mean, like, there's even a little bit more. And I think what's going on is like he's a huge fan of what's supposed to be a Squirrel Girl parody, Badger Babe, who's like, when she started out, she was like all cute and stuff, and now she's like this fucking she beast, and he's like, oh, they ruined Badger Babe. And then all of a sudden he gets superpowers for whatever reason.
And he becomes a parody of Gwenpool.
It was a weird, bizarre parody of Deadpool. It was a parody of comic book. That's like a parody of a parody of a parody.
Well, one could say a parody of a parody of a ripoff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because like Deadpool started out as a ripoff of Deathstroke, but then he evolved.
Yeah, he did.
I might say devolved.
The point is he got away from his origins and for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody can really complain that he's a ripoff anymore.
No, I mean, like, is anyone gonna say he has anything in common with Deathstroke anymore?
Not beyond the look, no.
No, or the name.
Although his name is a ripoff. Dinte, I know you know what this is. Matt, do you know where the name comes from?
Which one? Wade Wilson?
No, Deadpool.
Oh. Where's it from?
It's from a Clint Eastwood movie. It's like the 5th Dirty Harry movie.
Jeez. It's almost like Rob Liefeld wanted to take from everything.
And the weird part is it's kind of in spite of himself that some of his characters just end like they're like, because he combined so many things, they kind of ended up being original in spite of himself.
Well, in a way, that's basically what a lot of characters are. The creator takes inspirations and just puts it in there.
Yeah,
Although,
but I mean, like, there's like usually a difference between, like, say, between a character being inspired and being uninspired. Like, I mean, like, early on, like when Deadpool first showed up, like, there was like very little ambiguity. The guy was a Deathstroke ripoff. It like wasn't until like Fabian Nicieza got a hold of him and actually started playing with the character that he got beyond that. And it gave him a more interesting, like gave him more personality and
flushed him out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, like we have a ripoff that turns into a parody that gets parodied and then gets parodied again.
Yep.
And yet somehow I mean, like you can tell what Troy, where Troy got the idea from, but none of it feels like it. Like Wanpool does not come off feeling like it's lacking ideas or originality, even though you can clearly tell where the idea comes from.
I think what really benefited Wanpool was that Troy was able to build his own world for it. Which
I think like Juan, he lives in a place called Major City, doesn't he?
Yeah, and a lot of the mannerisms of the world act like Twitter.
I was gonna essentially say that Womble just feels like the most comic booky comic book that has ever comic booked.
Yeah, but if you say something that's not politically correct, people are going to freak out, and that's what happened in Wanpool. What caused him to get sent to the hospital.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's just like, like I said, it's just like there's something just like it just feels like it's pure comic book.
Yeah, and I think the pure comic book aspect is his love of the type of storytelling.
Yeah, I think like fair to say it feels like there's something very old school in the way Wanpool does its storytelling.
Yeah, but I think the biggest difference, what's more modern about it, is that it ends on the first episode. Each issue lands on a cliffhanger, while the older stories were largely self-contained stories.
Well, yeah, true. That like you almost like back in the day, you almost never got a multi-issue story.
Yeah,
like those were not the norm back then.
Which is surprise. It's flipped.
Well, yeah, I think that's a lot. I think a lot of that has come down to the fact that they want to write comic books like movies or TV shows.
And it's now the popularity of trade paperbacks too.
Yeah, that too. I mean, like, yeah, because no, I don't begrudge them for this because like there is an advantage that trade paperbacks have over individual issues. It's that they're more convenient to collect.
And you can get them at bookstores.
Yeah, also true. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, just like you don't have to keep getting each individual issue. You can just get them all at once. There's like a little bit more of a convenience factor with the trades.
Yep. Which is probably one factor that's killing the LCS.
So what are we gonna have to? So local comic book shops because man, I haven't brought this up with you, Dean, but yeah, there's like comic book shops across the country out in the States. Like they're just closing up shop left and right. Like Matt, how many have gone out of business this year already?
I think I can't remember the top off of my head, but I remember Peter Samedi saying that he had to cross off 15 stores of the stores that carried them. Alterna.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so. Yep. So, which is why Alterna is turning towards dollar stores to sell their books.
That's how they used to do it back in the day. Like they used to be able to get comic books at like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but I remember those good old days.
That sort of passed me by, but yeah, I do remember that. I mean, like, I don't know what the market's like out in New Zealand though.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. There's very few comic books here unless you go to one of the major cities.
So, like, where you live, there's like no chance that you find a shop. Like, what would you have to go to Auckland?
Have to go to Palmerston North, which is the closest city, and that's a 20 to 30 minute drive.
Oh man, actually, dude, if you think we're having it rough, I mean, you gotta imagine how rough it is like out in other countries, though.
True.
I mean, I think I can remember. You know Mim Headroom, right, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's talked about like how he's seen shops go up left and right over in the UK.
Oh yeah, it's definitely getting bad out there, especially with the UK, especially with all the restrictions that are now going on in the UK with terms of free speech and all that.
Well, I mean, like I think I have heard though, like the Franco-Belgian market does pretty all right.
Yeah, I think it's doing well enough that they're now releasing their titles in English on Comixology.
But yeah, I mean, the Franco-Belgian market is actually pretty good. In fact, like I can remember, I think I can remember coming across a Razor Fist post on Razor Fist's Tumblr where he said like it's not unheard of out in Europe to come across comic shops that are like come across shops that are like 2 stories high.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think part of the reason why France is doing pretty well in the comic market is that they made a lot of titles that were influential in science fiction, such as Valerian. There's a ton of Valerian references in Star Wars.
Really?
Oh yeah, it looks like they even took the slave bikini from Valerian as well.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah,
How was that?
it was good for what it was. I thought it was. I think they could have gotten better casting, to be honest.
Yeah, that guy that got to play Valerian like this, he did not look the part at all.
And the girl playing the girl playing Laureline was not a redhead, so that was the first strike against her. But
Was she a redhead in the original
yeah,
comic?
yeah, they're erasing the gingers.
Oh fuck me! I'm a fucking ginger.
But she didn't come off as being very smart either. And Laureline was this incredibly intelligent woman. Basically, they worked well with Valerian as the brawn and Laureline as the brains.
Yeah, yeah. Not only that, I mean, like Dinte, you know heavy metal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, out in like France and Belgium, it's known as metal Erlan, and it's like huge out there. Still going to this day, in fact.
Well, jeez.
And I guess we don't really need to talk about the Japanese market, though.
Okay. I remember when Tokyo Pop claimed that the manga market was dying, and that's why they died.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I thought the Japanese market was like was still doing okay.
No, they were blaming the North American manga market, but right now the market for manga in the United States is doing very well. So take that as for what you will. It probably wasn't the shady business practices of Tokyo Pop that brought them down, or the fact that they put all their eggs in one basket when they made most of their titles from Kodansha, who right before Tokyo Pop died, pulled their library from them and decided to do their own imprint in the United States.
Mm-hmm. but I was referring more to like just Japan in general, like with the manga. Japan in Japan.
I
Like
think,
as far as I know, like out in Japan, everything is still okay.
yeah, that's probably because of some of the practices they do too, where you know how whenever you have this big thing pop up about, a film based on a comic or a TV series based on a comic,
Uh-huh.
and the creator gets royalties.
Uh-huh.
Manga creators don't get that.
Really?
They get a check, and that's all they get. No
Wow.
royalties. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I knew like I kind of knew. I mean, like I was aware that the manga market doesn't necessarily treat its creators all that well, but wow, they don't even they don't see any royalties for any merchandise at all.
Nope. The creator of Gintama had leaked that too. I leaked that in one of in the manga. So it's he was asked. He was asked by a reader, "How does it feel to know that your manga is very popular and you get to live in a high class society?" He says he made a comment that he has not seen a single cent from. He's not seen a single cent from the initial check.
I think in his case, it's a single yen.
Well, yeah, but I'm doing it based on what was translated.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. So they had, so basically, they had a live action adaptation, 2 anime movies, an entire anime series, and all he got were a few checks.
I mean, dude. I mean, I've heard. You and I both heard stories about like how a lot of content creators are like living in poverty. But that almost sounds. That's just about as bad.
I can't believe that the guys who created Superman died in poverty.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's just like really. How does that fucking happen?
They get cheated.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember even like hearing a couple of years back about how the found out there was this one former comic artist who was now living homeless.
Oh yeah, guy who did Wonder Woman for a few years. You're talking about him, right?
I don't remember what he did. All I know is that he was a published pro and like now the guy's just broken. Doesn't even have a place to sleep.
Yeah, you're basically when you're a comic pro, you gotta watch that money. It's not going to give. It's not gonna make you a whole lot of money, even if they based stuff that they based their movies based on something that you did.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's fucking. I think I remember tweeting about which fucks you over more, the film industry or the comic industry. Honestly, it's probably a case of pick your poison.
Basically,
I'm like, how many people have we heard about wanting to go out trying to make it big in Hollywood and just end up destitute? Like, there's so many of those stories.
no, yeah, and even if you've got a flourishing career as a writer for Hollywood, one strike will wipe that all away.
Yeah.
There, I've read that. It was back in 2005. I read that the writers who were involved with who had careers in the during the Writers Guild strike of 1987,
Uh-huh.
they were still trying to rebuild their career in 2005.
I can remember the Writers Guild strike that went on back in I think 2006 or something.
Yeah. I wonder how many got fucked over there.
Yeah. Although we did get a pretty good episode of South Park out of that.
I'm not your friend, guy.
That was basically the whole thing of that was basically the whole thing with the whole Canadians on strike. In fact, I think in the commentary, either Matt or Trey says, no, this wasn't a parody. This was what actually happened.
Oh yeah, I remember Seth MacFarlane going on the podium saying that this is for the little guy.
Of course. I mean, like, I thought, of course, like Seth MacFarlane never has to worry about having a job. Like, he's how bad has Family Guy been, and he still gets work?
Oh God.
How bad has his live action movies been?
That is true. I think, although I've been hearing that Orville's is actually not that bad.
That's because they got talent from the next generation working on it. However, hearing the weakest part of the show was Seth MacFarlane.
Wow. Yeah, and although I think what a lot of people seem to like is that it brings like a lot of it brought like a lot of old Star Trek writers on, like Brandon Braga and and a bunch of others whose names escape me.
Oh yes,
so it feels like there's a little bit of legitimacy to it.
Yeah, I think that if Star Trek Discovery was actually good, it would have. No, if it was good, it would have sunk the Orville. But the reason why the Orville is doing well now is because they've got Star Trek Discovery to be compared to.
Oh man, that's just sad. Yeah, but yeah, I remember though, I was watching a SF Debris review of the Orville, and he said like the impression he had watching it was like I'm watching the world's most expensive fan film.
Technically, that's Star Trek Exner.
You're gonna tell me that actually had more of a budget than the Orville?
Over $1 million.
Really?
Was raised, yeah.
Wow.
There's a reason why CBS sued them.
Damn, that just sucks for them.
Yep. Well, I noticed that all the fan films that had been cease and desist from CBS were ones that took place in the era of Discovery, or had something to do with Discovery.
Really?
The main ship in Star Trek Horizon, the ship's name was Discovery. Oh, look, cease and desist because the Starship Discovery.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I have to say it that the XNR fans called it when they were doing about how CBS was taking the time period and turning it and converting it to their own BS because they saw how well XNR did.
Wow. You know, if CBS had any sense, they would have just licensed it.
No, they don't.
No, they didn't. Can't have and have this and have these no names actually outdoing us.
Funny thing is that XNR was not a bunch of no names. They had Star Trek actors and Star Trek people who worked on Star Trek.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just a bunch of fans just putting together their own movie.
Nope, they actually who played Martok in Deep Space Nine you had the Vulcan ambassador from Enterprise.
Damn, that's actually pretty cool.
Yep. And funny thing is that they had the set designer from Babylon 5.
That is actually really damn cool.
Yeah. Like the guy who did the music, I think they said he learned from Hans Zimmer.
Huh.
So it was a great set of. It was a great team of people working on this production.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they just let all that, and they don't even try to capitalize that on in any way.
Well, Les Moonves is an idiot. He was the one who told Star Trek Discovery to do all these really stupid moves. The funny thing is, you know how everyone complained about Klingons in Discovery?
Mm-hmm.
I found out that the designs for the Klingons are based on concept sketches from the first Star Trek movie.
For real.
Yep. So you got the starship that's based on a concept art, from a movie that was thrown out, and you have designs of the Klingons that was thrown out.
That should be saying something.
That should have been your first clue that it would suck.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it's even funnier now that they're being sued.
Well, weren't they getting sued just wasn't Discovery getting sued just because it looked like it was grifting ideas from a video game?
Yep, an indie game that was released a year before Discovery was announced.
Yeah, this does not look like the same case. This looks actually like a similar case to. You remember when that one guy tried suing Ubisoft for plagiarism? Because apparently Assassin's Creed might have grifted an idea out of his novel.
Yeah.
And he might have actually had a case because, like, the thing with the Animus in Assassin's Creed, that wasn't supposed to be in the original concept.
Jeez. But right now, but the guy who's doing the lawsuit for who's suing Discovery, he decided to do it only if the lawyers said they've got a case for it. And
at this point, does it look like he does?
Oh yeah, that's why he's suing now.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Now the question is, can he win it?
I think what's probably going to happen is that CBS is going to hire lawyers to keep it ongoing for a while. Try to make him bleed money for it.
You don't see them settling out of court, do they? Do you?
They might, but I don't know, because basically the idea, what CBS executives told him when he talked to them about his concerns, what they said was that if he doesn't sue them, they'll never use the tardigrade again, and they won't sue him.
That sounds like they're trying to move to settle out of court.
Yep, but needless to say, I think it might be a good idea for them to get their nose played by this nobody, because from what I've read from friends of Brian Fuller, who worked on Discovery before he got fired, was that none of what's going on in Discovery was is based on what he wanted.
I can see why, but I can see why you'd think that, but it does not seem like that's likely to happen.
No. But this show is bad in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, there's that's not just that. Yeah, like there's a lot wrong with. There's just so much wrong with Discovery.
Don't worry, they got a Star Trek writer as the lead writer. Just that she only wrote Star Trek Voyager novels.
Because that'll translate over.
Oh yeah, and she also wrote a couple of scripts for Voyager, but they were always rejected.
Gee, are we beginning to notice a pattern here?
Somewhat.
Oh man, Voyager.
Voyager wasn't good. It wasn't as bad as Discovery, but oh my bad, did it have some really bad episodes?
Like the space lizards.
Oh yeah, Threshold.
Oh, I remember.
I told the, there was like this one episode. There was like this Halloween episode Dean and I did. It was on John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. And I told him a little background information on In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the original script for In the Mouth of Madness, I shit you not, Matt, has the same writer as Threshold.
I'm not surprised.
No, actually, you will be, because In the Mouth of Madness is a great movie.
Yeah, but when translate over to TV and the weird ideas he had.
Well, a lot of that also had to do with that John Carpenter put it like the initial script, but he had to give it a rewrite.
So basically, what you're saying is that they should have had John Carpenter on that episode.
Well, I did. They probably should have.
Yeah. Going back to how crooked Hollywood is, did you ever hear the story of why John Carpenter left Hollywood?
No.
So this is what?
I want to now.
This was back.
Me too.
This was back. This takes place back in the 80s with Big Trouble in Little China. He was set to direct. They had a script. He did not like the script because originally the script was set in the Old West and had a lot of racist elements to it. So when they refused to rewrite it, he brought on board a friend to rewrite it into the movie that we know of today. There was a fight over the credits because those writers did not want a story by credit. They wanted full credit, despite the fact they didn't write the script that was filmed. And the Writers Guild, in their ruling, said that the original writers had to be credited for the movie, and the guy who wrote the script did not get credited.
And that's what led to John Carpenter leaving Hollywood.
Yep.
Wow.
To be fair, though, John Carpenter was always a guy who did his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is largely his rebellious move. He was looking for a reason. That was it.
It was, John Carpenter was never going to be a guy who would have worked well in the Hollywood system. He's too much of a He was too much of a rebel.
There's a lot of good directors that don't work well with Hollywood. I think for the most part, it's because they're not geared towards the marketing aspect of movies.
Well, yeah, that's probably not. That is probably not wrong. You're definitely not wrong about that.
Yeah. The original director for the movie Dune back in the 70s, he wanted
David Lynch. Like he
but,
hates that. He hates that movie. In fact, yeah, he is credited as Alan Smithy now because he had such a bad experience making that movie.
Yeah, but this was before him. The original director was a Latino director, Alejandro Jodorowsky,
Okay.
and he wanted to do the movie as long as he wanted to do it. He said, the original idea was for him, the length would be about 5 hours long.
Oh,
and
wow.
and the reason why he never did his movie was because there were no producers in Hollywood who would take on that movie. So they sold the rights off.
And then it ended up in the hands of David Lynch, and we all know how that went.
Well, originally it was going to be Ridley Scott.
Really?
Yeah, he'd worked on it for about a year and a half.
Yeah, I think I remember SF talking about that when he did the Dune review. I think he said, didn't he lose interest in it though?
It was right after his brother had a heart attack, and it made him just think about whether or not he wanted to spend the next 3 years of his life working on Dune. So he went and did Blade Runner.
Yeah. And then it got into David Lynch's hands.
Yep. Ironically, it's kind of like a cycle because Denis Villeneuve did Blade Runner 2049, and now he's working on a Dune movie.
Yeah, I wonder if I'm hoping that if they have any sense, they'll just split this up into like 2 movies.
Well, he said that he wants to do it as 2 movies.
Yeah, there's just too much material to put into one film.
Yeah, there is.
Like, it can't be done. It cannot be done as a single movie.
Yeah, the sci-fi original miniseries was probably the most faithful, but it did not age well.
No, it has not. It looks like a early 2000s sci-fi production.
Yep.
Although that's at least back when the Sci-Fi Channel was still was still legit.
Yeah.
Before Sharknado.
No, I think it's more like before they decided to brand it as Sci-Fi.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
They tried moving away from the science fiction. What a mistake that was.
And that was it was. Oh, no doubt. We've been going on for about a couple hours. You guys, let's get with leaving it off here.
Sure.
All right then. Yeah. Thanks for everyone who bothered showing up, and thanks Matt for showing up too.
You're welcome. Be happy to do it anytime.
Right. And also, I guess before we go, do you want to plug anything, Matt?
Just that'll be on Sporkman stream on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. All right, and I guess you can, and if you're not already, just follow Matt on Twitter at.
It's at Matt Train.
Yep. All right then. Okay. And we'll call it good. See you guys next week.
Yep. See you next week.